Hey guys, I would like to spend a little bit of time here explaining what each of the general Weakauras in my pack does and quickly show you how to manage their positions. I hope this answers most of your questions. I'm recording this video using my headset microphone, so the quality might suck, sorry about that. So besides the class packs that are quite straightforward, I also run a huge group of general auras and the raid widgets. These auras are a mix of smaller widgets that I use on every character and that can't be linked to any specific class by their purpose. Here you can see how many of them they are, and while it might feel a bit overwhelming, I'll guide you through each of one of them. Keep in mind that additional auras might be added over time. So we'll start from top to bottom. I don't own some of the auras here, and I don't like to reinvent the wheel or claim them as my own, so you might see a few auras made by other people. I only include their auras here because they are public. Dropdown lists. This group contains aura lists that you can see in the top left corner of the screen. All of these lists are collapsible, and you can collapse them by clicking on their title, as you can see, right? The only time when they won't be clickable is during combat, and that's only for the talents Weakaura, because you basically can't hide the secure button template in combat as it's forbidden in the Blizzard API. Talents and Glyphs. The Talents Weakaura shows your class talents and current Glyphs. Talent icons are clickable, while Glyphs are not. At the time of this recording, for some reason, the function used in this Weakaura doesn't consume tomes when you change your talents. This might be fixed by Blizzard in the future, so feel free to click on these icons to change your talents. This aura is also linked to another useful Weakaura that I will show you later in this video. Currencies. Currencies shows you a list of the most common used currencies in Mist of Pandaria at level 90, along with their current amount and total. If a currency reaches its maximum, the bar will turn completely red. Reputations shows you the Mist of Pandaria reputations. It might be missing some factions, so if it is, let me know and we'll fix it. You can change which reputations are shown and also hide them when they are exalted by clicking on the aura and opening the custom options tab. Gear Check Helper is one of my absolute favorites. It helps you to avoid forgetting to enchant or tinker an item or to put a gem into it. This Weakaura tracks your currently equipped gear and shows you if any item is missing something. For example, it shows me that I'm missing the enchant on my chest, and as you can see, I actually do. Also, all of those lists will become slightly transparent when you enter combat. This is intentional. Next, we are going to set out the equiper. This Weakaura doesn't display anything, but helps you to manage your gear. If you open the Custom Options tab, you'll see a set of options. Here, you can add your specialization and set name. Once you do that and check Enable Auto Swap, the Weakaura will automatically swap your gear to the set you created. If you check Auto Equip only on respec, it will only equip the gear when you manually respec and not log in on or reload. This is useful, for example, if you swap your gear within the same spec depending on the encounter and don't want the Weakaura to switch back to the default set after a reload. So all you need is to add an entry if there is no such entry here, right? Then you choose the spec. In my case, it's currently survival. Then we create a set here. Let's say surf. And then we just paste this set name to here. And we also need to add some description, like let's say hunter survival. Yep. So now if I close my Weakauras window, it should auto-equip the surf set. Yep, and it will also send a message in the chat saying Merfin set auto-equiper, set surf was auto-equipped. Target HUDs. Target HUDs include several auras that display different information related to your current target. Target raid debuffs shows the raid debuffs on your target, their duration, and other details. This can be useful to know at times. Target range distance displays the approximate range to your target. The number changes color depending on whether you're in range or out of range. Time to die. Time to die calculates how many seconds it will take for your target to die. The timer is not exact, but helps you to decide whether to use a long dot, save a cooldown, or use it immediately. Middle screen Misc displays useful information such as a CC icon of the player, crowd control, drink and food, and movement externals like roar and feathers. There is also a crosshair Weakaura. This Weakaura just displays basically like the middle of your screen, because sometimes it's really important, especially in raids. In raids, when the place is crowded with a lot of people around, and you want to see where is your character is right now. Loot widgets. Loot widgets has two auras. One of them displays the current loot that you and other people have received. This Weakaura only works on non-US clients because it relies on localized values. This Weakaura is not mine, and you can find its original version on Wago. Auto-grid Weakaura automatically grids green items, which can be useful so you don't waste extra time doing it manually. Alright, Dungeon Helper. Dungeon Helpers contains two auras. One of them is a Weakaura that automatically accepts your role when someone starts a role check while you are queuing for LFG. And if you want to turn it off, you can do it by right-clicking on the minimap icon here. I mean by left-clicking, I'm sorry. So it will turn off auto role, accept, and turn on. Turn off and turn on, sorry. The other is custom-made widget that helps you queue for dungeons without opening the actual LFG frame. You can simply, this one, you can simply click on the arrow, choose the dungeons, by left-clicking on them, or deselect them by right-clicking. Then, once you click on the main icon here, it will queue for these dungeons. This Weakaura might be still a bit buggy in some cases, but I am working on fixes. Challenge mode widgets include several widgets for the challenge mode version of dungeons. Challenge mode watcher shows a widget with the current time, medal, and completed criteria, similar to Mythic Plus trackers on retail. CM teleports provide a clickable frame with the dungeon teleports. Clicking on one will cast the teleport to that dungeon. CM teleports attached to frame doesn't work right now, but it's basically the same stuff. It's just attached to the challenge frame. But this aura doesn't work right now, and I'll be fixing it in next few days, hopefully. Leveling widgets. Leveling widgets contain some widgets for your leveling, and they are only loaded if your level lower than 90. So it contains Luxtos experience bar, which shows you your current experience. It has guild banners. This is a custom-made Weakaura that's connected to your other people in party who runs the same aura. It shows you the list of people who has the banners and their cooldown timer. And clickable banners. Clickable banners are just the icons with your banners, their cooldown, and the type with the borders, right? And they're also clickable, so you can just click on them and you will place the banner. Place banner reminder. This Weakauras just reminds you that you don't have the banner buff, and in the same time you still have one of the banners out of cooldown. Auction Consumables Helpers. This aura that attaches certain icons to your auction house frame, helping you to buy consumables without having to search for their names. So if you open auction house, you can see the icons, and if you click on these icons, it will immediately find that item here, which you can buy after. And the icons has slightly modified transparency based on your current spec. So like based on your specialization type, as you can see. Over time, I also plan to include enchantments. Talent and Glyph rate swap reminders. I think this is another great one. This aura reminds you to swap your talents and glyphs after each boss based on how you configured it. If you open the Custom Options tab, you'll see a list of bosses. For each boss, you can add the talents you want to use, and the Weakauras will not only notify you in the middle of the screen, but will also highlight the corresponding icon in the talents Weakauras. And let me quickly show you how it works, and then I'll show you how to configure it. Alright, so I actually died here, but you can see that when the boss was done, basically, right, when we killed it, I immediately got the icons here, and they show me that I need to change my talents to a murder of crows and to fervor. And also on top of that, you can see that these icons in the quick talents Weakauras of mine, they're also glowed here. So it's very, very catchy. And to configure it, you just need to open your talents, go to, for example, Stoneguard, right? I'm Hunter. I probably want to AoE on this boss. So I probably want to get like Thrill of the Hunt in tier 4. Tier 4, Thrill of the Hunt. I press Shift, left click, and it auto adds this talent here. Additionally, you can just write the name of this talent here, but of course it's easier to do it with the shift clicks, sorry, right? And like that. And then on next boss, you just do the same and like add another set of talents, right? Tier 5. Yep. And on top of that, if it's not the only character that you play on this account and you want this Weakauras to work like that on other characters, you would need to rename this aura, like let's say blah 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 hunter, right? I won't do it right now, but yeah. And then you'll need to set up the lower tab. So basically make it as player class, hunter, and you could also change the specialization like to surf. And then if you want to use the same stuff on your other class on the same account, you need to duplicate this aura and change the load options here. So it loads, for example, on Holy Paladin. And then like yeah, also change the talents that you want to swap. Basically, that's it. Also, I'll probably be updating the general auras, so if you want to keep your own settings for the characters, it's recommended to just like take this aura out of the group here and like keep it somewhere in your own options, in your own group, right? Alright, reminders. Reminders just remind you about some useful stuff that you forgot to equip or use or drink, etc. Most of them are only enabled in dungeons or in raids, so they won't be shown here. But as you can see, I have the reminder to repair. It's 86, right? But I'm in city, so why wouldn't I repair if I'm in the city, even if it's 86? Then it shows me that I need to buy some tomes and also that I need to use aspect. And some of the hours are clickable, by the way. So if you click on aspect, it's going to use aspect. And there are also text reminders, fuel leak. So it shows you the icon if your nitro boots failed. High treat. It's our, I think, only loads, yeah, on damage and healers. And menus. Menus are just the icon which are attached to the icon in the this group. So, like for example, that. See, use this, or this. Nameplate widgets contains only one aura at the moment, and it's the interrupt on nameplates. So it shows the interrupt, the guy who interrupted the current cast right on top of the nameplate in the left top corner. Equipped items. Equipped items is a Weakauras of mine, which is an absolute banger, I can say. It's very popular. It was very popular before, and it is popular now. So the aura displays your equipped items with some cooldown or proc mechanic here. So basically like your trinkets, right? Your weapon. And I also included potions in this group, so you can also see potions. If you want to modify this aura to not show certain trinket or enchantment, you can do it in custom options tab here. Cast bars. Cast bars are just the cast bars for target and for focus, since I don't really like to use LVI cast bars due to some limitations. Blizzard improvements contains two auras. First of them is spell activation overlay. This Weakauras turns off spell activation overlay. Spell activation overlay are the overlays around your character, like when you proc something. So I intentionally want to disable the ones that's made by Blizzard because there are too many of them, and most of them are useless and shouldn't be tracked on your screen, in my opinion. And they also do some weird ass sounds. So yeah, I manually disable it here, and I instead show them in the class packs directly. And extra action button mover. Extra action button mover is the Weakauras that just helps you to basically move your extra action button, since there are no anchor for that in LVI yet, suddenly. Raid Buffs HUD shows you the raid buffs which can be provided by other people in your raid, including also Flask and Food and Hellstone. And it's positioned by default at the bottom of your minimap here. And it also has custom options, so you can turn off something if you don't want to track it. And you can also check Smart Display. Smart Display is made to only show the icons if the specific class is in your raid group or party, if it's about dungeon. GCD features is just the sorry for the sub sound. It's just the GCD history. It's the group that shows you which cooldowns was used. Basically, it doesn't show everything, right? But yeah, shows you which cooldowns were recently used here. Uh, and GCD cursor just makes the texture, the circlet texture around your cursor. So you can see I have the circle texture around my cursor. Some people find it useful. I'm not sure about that, but I have it, right? Uh, right, that's it about the general hours. Now I'll just quickly go over every Weakauras in rate widgets and in short explain you what each of them does. The reason why these hours are in rate widgets is because I just didn't want to make one huge group with everything. and I kinda divided some hours by their minions. So yeah. Pool break timers. This Weakauras shows you the pool and break timers, and then counter respawn time, LFG proposal time, like all of this stuff. Cooldown request. When somebody presses on your nickname in some cooldown add-on, it sends you a message in chat saying that that guy wants you to use this cooldown, and basically this icon just tells you about that in the middle, and it also applies the icon on the raid frame, and on top of that it will also glow the raid frame. So it's really useful. Raid Buffs Watcher watches the buffs which are applied to other people in the raid, or some massive cooldowns like Power Word Barrier, Devotion Hour, Smoke Bomb, etc. These icons are customizable, so you can turn off something in Custom Options tab, right? Yeah. Release button hider. This Weakauras hides the release button. I'll show you in a second how it looks. Alright, sorry for this information. I've actually checked this Weakauras and it doesn't work correct yet for some reason, and I'll be fixing this after this video. But this aura is basically like hides your release button if you're still in encounter, and if you hold your control, it will show you the button. Ressurect Casts, this group shows you the resurrection casts here. So like who is resin and who is resin who, basically. Auto role. Auto role automatically assigns your role based on your spec. So if you are playing as protection paladin, it will automatically assign you as a tank. So like you don't have to right click on yourself and change the role manually. Who died warning. Who died warning just displays you who died, right? I have some dummy hours here which I need to remove. So it shows you who died, and it also does some play sound. So if you want to turn off the play sound, you can do it here in the custom options tab. Or if you want to hear it only if you're promoted in raid, like raid leader or assist, you can also do it here. Or if you don't want to see these icons on the left and right side of the string, you can also remove it here. I escape items and consumables. Alright, so there are some items that some guilds and people who do speedruns races use, like TBC boots that increase the speed, invisibility field tinker that's attached to your, I think, cloak, and that does an invisibility on you if you click it, invisibility potion, free action potion, and invisible trinket. So these icons are clickable. So if you equip one of these escape items, they will be, and if you click on them, they will do the effect and they will show the duration, basically, right? And there is another hour of the same time, of the same type. It's called auto swap items. So this Weakauras remembers what item you had before equipping TBC boots, and once you've used them, it will auto swap to your previously equipped boots. And same goes to Invis Trinket. Yeah, it's really good. Kaze MRT Timers. Kaze MRT Timers serves as notification for MRT timers. So when it's your turn on the MRT node, it will create you an icon here with your name and your sound and the cooldown that you have to use. And it also has a huge custom options tab here, which you can configure as you wish. Next, combat res counter. Combat res counter shows you how many combat reses you currently have in raid, because they are limited, right, in the raids. Instance end. Instance end, I don't think this Weakauras works anymore on this version, so I will be fixing it. But this Weakauras basically adds a window on your screen when you finish the dungeon, and it offers you to either leave the dungeon with one of the button. The second button is for like teleport out, and I think the third one is for cancel. But I haven't seen that aura worked on Mists of Pandaria, so I'll try to check what's wrong, and if I can fix it, I'll fix it. This aura wasn't made by me, so yeah. Summon overlay. Summon overlay, a Weakauras that talks with each other in your raid, and it sends the message in the chat when you summon someone. And when that person receives the summon, if that person has that aura, he'll also tell you about that in the chat. And the Weakauras also applies an icon on the raid frame of that person who received the summon. Since the API in the game doesn't allow you to do that currently, and so that's why ALVI doesn't show it by default like it does on retail. And because of that, I've made that aura. And yeah, that's basically it for raid widgets. Now let's talk about the anchors and how you can reposition this stuff in case you don't like the default positions. Alright guys, so I'm not sure if you are familiar with my raid pack or other raid packs, especially on retail, but in last few years, I think that everyone started to use raid anchors in their raid packs. Raid anchors are basically the dummy Weakauras group that allows you to pre-position. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Haha, this one. So like it allows you to pre-position some groups used in the raid pack, and then if you update the raid pack, the group will still be on the place that you assigned it to be. So for example, we have progress icons here, like let's say for Stone Guard, and they are positioned like here, right? And if I want to change their position, I don't have to do it directly here in the tier 14 pack, because when I'll be updating this pack in the future, it will override my positions. And also because you can see how many groups here. And so, for example, if you want to change the position of all of the icons group, you would have to do that in every single one of them here. And it's pain in the ass, right? And it's also like that in big icons, bars, special bars, etc. So you can do it in the anchors here, in the raid anchors. And if you do it here, then you can see that every group of icons change their position. And if you update the pack in the future, the position will still be the same. And so I've decided to basically inherit this method to my general auras and raid widgets, because I update this a lot, and some people like to have a different set of positions, because not everyone is used to play with what I am used with, right? And some of the people even run their own UI, their own position for LVI frames, and they still want to use some of my general auras or like a whole package, but they want to slightly change the position of some frames. And for that, I've recently created a new group called Merfin UI Anchors. You can find two versions of this group, for Quad HD and for Full HD. The Quad HD one is used for people with a 2K resolution. So this 2K. And the Full HD for Full HD. It also, by the way, helps me to keep only one version of general auras instead of applying multiply ones like I had before, like I do with the class panels, for example, right? Because I have the class panel for Full HD and for Quad HD. But with the general auras, it's actually a pain in the ass, so I've decided to only keep one. And so you have the UI anchors, and let's say, I don't know, let's say I don't like the position for like talent and glyph swap reminders, right? And I want it to be slightly to the left side. What should I do? I don't need to change the position here or here. I need to do it in the anchors. So like here and here, I change the position for this frame, and then we can see that the position had changed here too. And same goes to every other Weakaura. Just be careful, because sometimes, for example, Dropdown List, I have a single anchor for every one of them, and so you'll need to expand the group here, and you'll see these anchors here. And these anchors you'll need to drag. And same goes to target HUDs, as an example. So this is a group, and you have the elements here, the actual anchors which you need to drag. And some of the groups also work like that. Some not, by the way. Yes, that's basically it. Now let's also talk about how do you update this stuff, right? Okay, so how do I update, let's say UI anchors, right? Was like, what if I added some new weak aura to the general auras, and then I also added a new anchor for that aura in UI anchors quad HD. So how do I add this group? But I want to keep my own positions. So let's just create a dummy weak aura here, just for example, right? And then we'll copy this Weakaura, and let's say it's a new one. Let's say it's a new group. And then we just change the positions to how like we want it to be. Slide it to here, like pull break timer, that for example, right? And then we have to update our UI anchors to the new one. So you press on import, paste the code, and then you can see that Weakaura offers you either to create a copy of that aura or update auras. We'll press update auras. And by the way, you won't see this window if you don't have the UI anchors. So if you don't have it, you won't see this option. You will just see like import. So we press on update auras, and here you can actually see that the categories that got updated in the new update related to your current versions are group arrangement and add missing auras. And so if you don't uncheck group arrangement, it will override your previously set anchors. And to avoid that, you'll have to uncheck the group assignment and then press update. It takes some time to update, and now you can actually see that the new hour was added, the new anchor was added, but we still have the same E offset on pull break timer. We've changed that, and we still have the same offset on talent and glyph rate swap reminders. Alright guys, I think this is it for now. I hope I answered most of your questions. Of course, the UI will change over time, but the basics will remain the same. Thank you for being with me, and I'll see you next time.